Today we are reviewing the latest horror movie, Obsession. Is this a new horror masterpiece, or would we have preferred a sequel to Idris Elba and Beyonce's underrated 2009 movie, Obsessed? Let's find out on the Late Night Movie Podcast. Welcome back to the Late Night Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Welchy, joined as always by my co-hosts, Mr. Pop Figures himself, Andy.
Hello, guys. Happy to be here. Was wondering where you was going with that pun, but
Yeah,
you eventually got that.
It was a
It was a long
long-winded
one.
one, yeah. And also joined by Mr. 10 out of 10 himself, Stephen.
Yes, hello, everybody. Lovely to be here. And the resident horror expert, which is also fitting for this episode. I'm just going to say, Welchy, that's an applaud. Only because Obsessed is such a fantastic movie. Like, I'm
I
so
like
happy
it.
to hear somebody say that it's so underrated. I would welcome Obsessed too, although I don't know how that would work,
No.
personally. Not giving anything away. But yeah, that's not really so much for pun, but just an appreciation to somebody
Yeah.
that says that that's a really, really good film. Have you seen that, Andy?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, you should watch it. It's
It's
good.
good. It's, I was going to say, because I was thinking about it earlier, I looked it up and it's not got good critic scores.
No,
Okay.
19% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
it's a lot better than that.
I would agree.
I'll add it on my watch list.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush to see it, but I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
So as discussed, or as mentioned in the cold open, we will be, or Andy and Stephen will be. You two seem to have a hunch that I've watched it. I have not watched it.
Oh,
Andy and Stephen will be reviewing Obsession, the latest horror movie, which is, it's gone pretty viral, I would say, but we'll get into that in a minute. Before we go there, I do want to quickly talk about Amazon, because Amazon have just started auditions for the next James
Yes.
Bond.
Oh, yeah.
I asked the Discord who they wanted to be. the
Well, I
next
didn't actually
James
see
Bond.
anyone else's votes.
Whoa, this makes for interesting reading. So, I asked, Amazon have started auditions for the next James Bond. Who do you think it should be? So the options were Jacob Elordi, Idris Elba, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Callum Turner, Dwayne Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, me, as in Welchy, or other. And I'm happy to announce that 100% of people voted for me.
How many people
Wait.
voted?
Yeah, I'm not telling you that. 100%.
when did
Morning
you do that?
today, I think.
Yeah, it was today.
Yeah, today,
I
this morning.
didn't see that.
There's still time to vote. There's still 10 hours left. So anyone listening to the podcast, we do polls regularly. We're talking always all the time. So do join our Discord. It's good fun in there. We've got a gaming one we're going to be talking about in the gaming episode this week. So obviously that was a bit of fun, bit of a joke. But in all seriousness, Amazon have started their auditions, and the first confirmed audition is Tom Francis. I'm not particularly.
Rings a bell.
I don't really know him. Apparently, he's done a lot of like Broadway stuff.
Okay.
And then everyone else there's kind of like rumored auditions. Like no one's 100% sure. I think Jacob Elordi makes sense. Like
He was the
he's-
one I was leaning to.
he's kind of got that aura at the minute, I think.
I can
Yeah.
confirm that I have just put in my vote. So you haven't got 100% anymore, Welchy.
Oh,
Just
fantastic!
throwing it out
You've
there.
probably gone for Sydney
I mean,
Sweeney.
No.
Oh no, you did vote Jacob Elordi.
Yeah. I mean, if you could easily be James Bond, Welchy, but
Thank
in the more realistic setting, I would say Jacob Elordi seems the most sort of straightforward one. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's quite buff as well. I could see that.
I just don't think he
Or-
has that swagger about him, though.
You
Like,
know,
No,
who I think would do good? What's his name? The guy from The Monkey. Franco
from the
brother.
Monkey.
The Franco
Oh,
brother.
Theo James. Oh.
No, not Franco. I'm wrong. That's together, isn't it? You're right. Theo James.
Yeah.
I
I'd
think
like him as well.
he's obviously a good-looking man. I think he's cool. He's got a good
He's
voice.
got that charm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he would
I could see him
smash it
doing
out of
that.
the park.
What about Idris Elba?
I like him. I think he's got the swagger for it. I think he's got the voice. He's cool. You know, like I think to be James Bond, you have to be cool. And I think
That would
And I agree
That
with
would
Andy. I
also
don't think
be-
Aaron Taylor Johnson's quite got that as much.
No, true. I think maybe a couple of years ago potentially, but I think maybe that swagger has been lost in recent years with the more mature stuff that he's done. Also, if they went down the route of Idris Elba, that would be the first James Bond that has not is not white. So it
Yeah.
would be completely new territory for the James Bond franchise to pick somebody that isn't or has never happened in the James Bond franchise before. Whether they would want to do that. I mean, there were rumors that it was going to be a female James Bond, but I don't know
Yeah.
if that's happening or not.
I don't think they're going to go down that route. They could. I mean, I put Sydney Sweeney in there. I mean, it's potential.
A lot
One
of
of
people go and
them-
watch that.
One of them, Callum Turner. I had no idea who he is, but I googled him, and he's Dua Lipa's fiance.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And apparently they want her for the soundtrack as well. So it's almost like a double
Makes
whammy.
sense.
Like, let's get them both in.
Yeah.
And he looked
They,
pretty
like-
cool, and he's back Dua Lipa, so he's obviously a good-looking man.
Dewar, you do the soundtrack and we'll get your fiance to be Mr. Bond himself. Happy
It really
days.
should be the other way around, but yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
It'd be interesting. I'd be good to finally know who it's going to be. This is it's like when the Harry Potter show is being announced. It's like, who's going to play these characters? James Bond is even more iconic. Harry Potter is like a massive selection of characters there to audition for, whereas James Bond is so iconic, and
The-
it's going to be like that
He's
for the
got-
next what?
Would be the right person.
Daniel Craig did what?
Yeah.
5 movies?
4 or 5. Well, it's usually 4, isn't it?
Casino Royale, Quantum Solace, Skyfall, the one after the Spectre. Yeah, he did 5.
5.
And No Time to Die.
And that
Yeah.
would take at least what, 15 years. So
That's why I don't think it'd be Idris Elba, because he's obviously a bit
Yes.
older than the other sort of
Yeah.
actors mentioned.
But Daniel Craig was born over a 20-year period. That's weird, essentially.
years.
I mean, well, 16 because it didn't No Time to Die come out in 2021, but you're
Yeah,
looking at almost clocking it at the 20-year mark. I think the only other thing that you were talking about, who's going to be cast as James Bond or Harry Potter, like in the TV world, sort of like it's
Doctor
the
Who.
same buzz of who's going to be like the next Doctor, yeah.
agreed.
In terms of like everyone's saying, is it going to be this person, that person, and obviously Doctor Who did the whole we're going to cast a female Doctor in recent years, so I wouldn't be surprised, but like for me, I'm more and more thinking Jacob Elordi would be a pretty solid shout.
Is
Obviously,
he too tall like for James
Too tall.
Bond?
I
They
don't think
had Timothy Dalton as James Bond. He's like 6'3". He's
This
That's
Jacob
good.
Elordi is taller than 6'3".
true, yeah, but he in Hot Fuzz he plays Mr. Skinner, and he was James Bond back in the 80s. And he's well over 6 foot, so maybe not.
I have to Google this.
I
guy's
don't
height.
think height would put them up from
No.
casting him. I think it's more the other stuff.
Jacob Elordi
Yeah.
is 6'5". So in that
2 inches
case,
more than
why not
Mr.
just
Dalton.
hire Peter Crouch? Maybe
Yeah,
he has definitely not got the coolness. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see.
it's
Who's
like
gonna
with
be.
Jacob Elordi, like he's absolutely exploded with stuff like Euphoria, Wuthering Heights, and Saltburn, and
Yeah.
it's sort of he's on the tip of everyone's tongue at the moment. So that wouldn't be a surprise. But Idris Elba wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, we'll find out soon. Hopefully, as you say, I think the last film was 2021. So, would you want?
Or maybe Patrick Gibson.
Is that the guy from the James Bond game coming up?
Yeah.
yeah. That's a good shout. I mean, he looks the part in the game.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
It would make. You know what? It's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout. I don't think he will.
Depends on how successful the game is.
It sounds. Rumors
make
are
them
it's a
think
great
twice.
game, obviously.
I know.
But if you had to vote for one now, like one you would want to see, who would it be, Andy?
Out of those choices,
Yeah. Or no, anyone. You can whoever you.
I
An
don't
actor
know,
you
'cause I
like
sort
that
of
you think would do
thinking-
well.
maybe someone like Tom Hiddleston, Loki. I think he'd be a good James Bond.
Yes, I can
Or
see
even maybe someone like Henry Cavill. But if we're gonna, I feel like I'd
Yeah.
rather give it to a more upcoming actor. So I think I know Jacob's in loads of stuff, but I feel like this would be
He's
his
still young.
the next big step.
Yeah.
So I'd pretty give it to him. Let him have a shot at it.
Yeah, it'd take it to even higher
Would you agree
heights
then,
than he's
Steve?
already at now.
But you
Yeah, I would
voted for him
say
in
so.
the
In terms,
Discord, so
yeah, I'd just say in terms of I think Andy's spot on there. In terms of upcoming actors, he still probably isn't at the peak of his powers, and James Bond would definitely expedite him into that. So, I mean, you could maybe argue someone like I don't know Tom Hardy would
Too
be
short.
interesting. Too short.
But it would not be
Yeah.
that's the James Bond.
Imagine
opposite.
Leonardo DiCaprio, he's done everything else, but obviously he's a
Not
bit on the
British.
older side. and not British either. So yeah, probably Jacob Elordi seems to be the most logical one at this stage.
Yeah, I think I would vote the same out of the ones I know. I don't think I've seen anything of Callum Turner's. He looks the part when I saw pictures of him, but from people I've seen act, I think Jacob Elordi would be a good one.
Yeah.
I think I don't think he's quite got the look, but I think we could get used to it if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they're about to style him
I
up.
know,
He
like
styles himself, doesn't he? So,
but like with his hairstyle, the way that he talks, that he's cool and slick, and the more I think about him, I'm like, he's got a lot of the part.
I think it's because I haven't watched many James Bond movies, so I'm not the expert to do this. But I think of James Bond, I think of Daniel Craig, and Jacob Elordi is just not the same person at all. Like so far away from it.
yeah, but James Bond, obviously, there's been several, hasn't there?
Yeah, I just haven't
James
seen
Bond,
them.
and
if you think
they all have their own little spin, their own little take on James Bond, how they play it. But
if you go from like they had like Sean Connery and Roger Moore and Pierce Bronson, all of them have got a slightly different characteristic, and also they always release at a different period. So a Bond that was there in the 80s is different to a Bond in the 90s, and vice versa and vice versa. So there's always a little difference that you expect. Same like with the Doctor. Every new Doctor creates a different theme, and it's similar with the James Bond franchise. And also, I think Jacob Elordi can do both. He can do sort of the glitz and the glamour that you get with James Bond, but he's also showcased that he can go to sort of darker places if they wanted to take it down darker routes or lighter routes. He's got that comedic time as well. So it seems like there's no bad points if they went with Jacob Elordi that I can think of at this moment.
We will see. I'm sure we'll be talking about it in a future episode. For now, let's go back into our main topic, our Obsession review. You two both seen it this week?
Yeah, watched on Wednesday.
Of course, because you had an early release and it came out Friday in the UK.
It always makes me laugh. Sorry, all I was going to say, it always makes me laugh with Stream Unseen that they show you like the horror trailers and they show you the trailer of the movie that you're about to see. So we knew, we were 95% sure that it was going to be Obsession just because of the fact that Obsession is an 18. It's the only horror movie that's got an 18 at the moment. Everything else to come is 15. So I was like, well, it's definitely going to be Obsession. And they show the trailer and then you hear people in the crowd when it shows you what movie it is. There wasn't even like a surprise reaction because every single person is like, this is Obsession, and yet we're getting a trailer for it. Which I suppose is a bit of a bad thing. If you had not seen the trailer and you had no idea what you were watching, you were just like, I'm going to go to the Scream Unseen. It does kind of ruin that if you want to go in completely blank. So they shouldn't really do that. They should take whatever the movie is, the trailer of that movie should not be in the normal Screen Unseen or the Scream Unseen.
I'd agree with that. So Obsession is the directorial debut of Curry Barker, a member of the internet comedy duo That's a Bad Idea. And let me tell you guys, the last couple of days, I just keep seeing clips of this group. I'd never seen them before in my life. But obviously they're getting a lot of interaction now, a lot of comments, a lot of likes. It's popping up in my feed. I'm like, it's quite funny. And I go in the comments and it's like, oh, this is the director of Obsession, by the way. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. Apparently he burst into the horror scene with an hour-long 2024 short film, Milk and Cereal, which only cost $800, which is very cheap. Go on.
I find it really fascinating that so many people in the comedy genre jumps into horror, like Jordan Peele is another prime example. Made his name in Key and Peele and then goes over to horror, and it's those directors that seem to be just
killing it,
taking the world by storm. But it's a similar thing because, like with a comedy's there to make you laugh. A horror is there to make you scared. So it's doing the same thing, but just kind of hitting on a different emotion. So people say there's a lot of similarities between a comedy and a horror, which why people that work in comedy find it easy to go through into horror. Because you would think like you're going from one spectrum to the complete other end of the spectrum. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities with this director too. Like Jordan Peele, that they think he's the next Jordan Peele and he's going to keep making these incredible horror movies. So there's a lot of buzz at the moment.
Let's hope so. So Obsession, produced in part by Blumhouse, it follows a young man played by Michael Johnston. Has he been in anything else we know?
Not that I recognised him.
Yeah, I didn't recognise him either.
Who learns to be careful what he wishes for when his wish that his crush, who is played by Indy Navarrete, I think I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
Would love him is granted. I can kind of get the vibe what's going to happen after that. This movie had a budget. Do you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you know. Okay. Do you
Oh,
know,
do you?
Stephen?
Oh, I don't know. No.
It's not a lot at all.
It's 1 million.
Wow.
I saw even less than that. I saw 750 as the quote.
Yeah, there's probably different things online. And then box office. So the website that I use says 7 million, but reports are way higher than that.
Yeah, I saw 16.
Yeah, the last one I saw was 15.
And it only came out on Friday, so that's in one
It's had a
weekend.
very
Yeah,
good
yeah, it's
weekend.
opening weekend. Yeah.
And blew its budget by at least 15 times. I will have another check to see if my website is updated. And I'm also going to have a look and see if this Michael Johnston's done anything before. He's been in... No, nothing we would know.
That also makes a lot more sense. I said this to Andy because I said we were in the same screen and watching it. That I don't know whether it was the Odeon that we were at, but it's shot in sort of a 4x3 sort of square, so it's not in widescreen. It's quite condensed, and I thought that was more of an artistic choice. It probably is, which we'll get on to when we get to our review. But actually, I also think that that's probably because of the fact that it had a budget of about $1 million, so it probably didn't have the budget to do the standard widescreen, something like what you see in Weapons.
Yeah,
It's shot very, very differently to something like that. I didn't know that's how much it cost to make. That's wild.
So, talking of wild, the box office numbers have been updated.
Oh, okay.
21 million.
Wow.
When you have a budget of $1 million, that is absolutely insane. I mean, 16 million of that is in the US, 5 million international.
Blumhouse as well are sort of becoming. I know we've got a lot of other horror, like A24 are making waves, Black Bear, which did Long Legs and The Monkey and those kind of movies. But Blumhouse really started with Paranormal Activity.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that. They have the Halloween reboot. They have The Purge. They have Insidious. Yeah, they have the Insidious movies. And now they've got this. I mean, that is not bad going. It feels like every big horror movie, Jason Blum decides to get involved. Yeah. So it's kind of put them even further on the map as this really established. They're probably the biggest horror company now with that.
Yeah.
The fact that they were already getting to that, and A24 was giving them a run for money, but now this is blown that out of the water easily.
So Rotten Tomatoes for this movie, one of us should have picked it for our game because it's got 94 on both critics and audience score.
I wonder if it was sort of on the radar when we started our game.
I had no idea.
I don't think it was.
When I can't remember exactly what I was reading, but obviously they made the film and it wasn't picked up straight away from what I was reading. And then obviously Blumhouse saw it and decided to take a shot on it. And then obviously it's become a big hit. But
that paid off.
I think it was at 98 when I originally checked. It's gone down.
It probably was,
at one point they were both at 98%, which I was like, this is wild.
Letterboxd. Have you checked this, Andy?
No, I haven't actually, no.
So the Letterboxd is a whopping 4.2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I find more impressive when a movie has a really good Letterboxd score, because we get quite a few 80s and 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. It's based on if they recommend it or not, whereas these are pure ratings and this is averaging more than 4 stars.
Yeah.
Which is very, very good. That's it for my stats and figures. I'll ask you questions here and there. Please don't spoil it for me, because depending on what you guys say, but from everything else I've seen and heard, this has gone up my list of must-watches. I think, actually, of the films I haven't watched this year, I'd say this is now my number 1 to watch, based on things I'm hearing. But you two may change my mind. Stephen, let's start with you, the horror expert. Are you going to give us a 10 out of 10? What did you think of it?
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Doing our usual 2 minutes.
Oh, God. I was hoping that you were going to forget about it.
Nope.
I don't think I've got enough to say in 2 minutes, but I'll give a general sort of
you haven't got enough to say?
Thoughts. No, I've got
too much.
Lot.
Okay, sorry. yeah, but then we can I'll ask some questions back off from what you two say.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm only kidding, but in terms of my summarization of 2 minutes. Right. So every so often a horror movie comes along that has a real buzz, as we've just discussed, and does something very different. So like I would say the last 12 years, It Follows, Get Out, Us, Sinners, The Substance. These are all movies that have done something very different that audience have not seen before, and it becomes a legacy horror movie. Obsession is in that list. Movies that hit the horror, as I refer to, like a steam train. This is an absolute masterpiece of a movie, and it's taken me probably 3 to 4 days to come to this glowing review. I came out of the screen and me and Andy obviously saw it together. We spoke about it. I was very, very impressed. But the movie stays with me, and I'm not going to mention anything of that because I don't want to give any spoilers away.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of deeper meanings and hidden stuff to this film, and it just does something that I've not seen a horror movie do to this sort of level for a long, long time. The main reason why this movie works, though, is Indy Nivaretti as Nikki. Her performance in this film, it has to be in the Oscar conversation for me. It is that good. I think her performance lives or dies based on this film. She's absolutely brilliant. You know, she's scary, she's funny, she's sexy when she needs to be, she's menacing when she needs to be. I thought Bear was solid in the film. The acting in the film generally as a whole is really, really good, but she steals the show in the way that she talks, the way that she looks. There's not really any conventional jump scares. The film's not scary in that sense, but it is so nerve-inducing and awkward. It plays on that whole feature. If you're in a social setting that becomes really awkward, if someone says something really weird or there's a bit of animosity between a couple, but it keeps you there for pretty much all of its runtime. And then basically it has sort of loads of these sorts of explosions. There's explosions of violence, of dread, of really fucked up moments. It has a number of laughs. So there's a lot of thing in the movie where people laugh out loud, but in a really sort of awkward way. It has all of that and a lot more. But on a whole, this blew my head off in terms of how good it was, and I can't wait to watch it again to see if I can pick up anything I didn't see first time. I feel like there's loads of hidden Easter eggs in the film, but generally, I loved this, and I thought that this is showcasing just what horror can do, and I think horror is in its element, and just keep it going because this is not what you would expect going into it, and it's brilliant, and it's definitely worth seeing on the big screen, even though that it's shot in a tiny 4x3, which just adds to the sort of anxiety that you feel because the camera kind of feels quite close. It feels like it's on you at all times, which works as well. Am I still within my 2 minutes?
No, I did give you the thumb up.
Oh, okay, sorry. That's the small bit of what I want to say, but obviously I can talk about this in a lot more detail.
So 10 out of 10?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I know I give a lot of 10 out of 10s, but this honestly is worth, and there's a lot of evidence to support with its audience score, its critic score, and what everyone is saying about it. And normally, when these type of films, I come out and go, well, it wasn't really scary, but it's a horror movie that doesn't need to be scary, if that makes sense. I know that sounds really weird, but it doesn't need to be for what it's trying to do, which, again, it makes more sense, hopefully, once you've seen the film. But no one's complained about that.
That is your 5th 10 out of 10 that released this year. Your top 10 this year is going to be mad.
I don't know how I'm even going to start, but it has been like the level of movies we're getting this year, man, have been like they are for me. I thought 2025 was an amazing year. So far, this is blown 2025 out of the water for me.
You've already got 5. You're not halfway through the year yet, so logic will tell you that you're going to have 10 out of 10s this year. So you've got to order them in best to worst somehow.
In terms of which ones, yeah.
Andy,
Jesus.
2 minutes. What did you think of Obsession?
Okay, so I went through my Letterboxd list of 2026 films the other day to see how many horror films had been out that we had watched this year, and I counted like 12 or 13 films.
Fucking.
And I don't know which one I'd put at the top because obviously I think people forget that The Bone Temple also came out this year just because it came out early in the year. But if it's not top, it's second. This is one of my favorite movies of the year so far. It is just incredible, and it is scary, but not in this sort of way where it's paranormal sort of jumping out at you. It's scary in terms of sort of the concept of the film, the characters, what they're going through, I think it's very clever in the way that it starts in terms of sort of giving you an idea about sort of the characters' sort of traits and their sort of personality. So I feel like that plays a big part going into sort of the second part and the third part of the film. Once Bear makes his wish. But yeah, pretty much in line with Stephen. Like, I had such a fun time watching this film, and I am going to be going to watch it again next week, hopefully on the Friday once they add more screenings. But yeah, just some of the moments in this film literally just gave you that shock factor, and some of it I'm still thinking about now, thinking like, I can't believe they put that in the fucking film in terms of how disgusting it is. Some of the movement as well in terms of the characters and what they do just like freaks you out. There are some jump scares in it as well that they aren't jump scares that you would expect because they're in such normal situations. All of a sudden it'll be a normal situation that all of a sudden switches up and you're like, fucking hell, that escalated so quickly, but you understand why it escalated because of what the story is about. So yeah, I had a lot of fun watching this film, and I honestly can't wait to go watch it again. Like Steven said, India's Nikki is a game changer in this film. Her performance, almost playing two sort of different characters, is incredible. So yeah, I loved every second of it. Can't wait to go watch it again. It is a 10 out of 10 for me.
You get a 10 out of 10 for timing that to 2 minutes, Andy.
You're welcome.
Wow, 2 10 out of 10s on the podcast. This is like the gaming podcast last week.
And not only that, me and Andy again for the second week running are completely in line with our thoughts. This is weird.
Yeah, and like you said, like all I'm seeing on my TikTok is the director, all clips of this film, like it has gone viral as fuck. Like it's everywhere.
Everyone's talking about it, and I keep hearing about this indie girl. Andy, would you agree with Stephen that she should be nominated for an Oscar?
Yeah, definitely, because like the way that she switches up in the film, to be able to do that, go from sort of two different personalities almost, it's incredible.
Everything I'm hearing online is like, this is one hell of a performance. Like, she makes the movie. She carries it. It's a good movie anyway, but like, she's like, is she the lead actress, or would she be supporting actress in this? Like, what
she'd be
I'd
lead
say
actress.
She's lead. Yeah.
Okay.
Lead actor, lead actress.
Yeah, definitely lead actress.
I'm trying to think of any movies already this year where like her competition.
I've not seen any movie that comes to my mind at this stage. There might be that I've forgotten.
Well, I know everyone was raving about Hamnet, but that was in last year's nomination.
That was in last year.
She got it last year.
Yeah. So from this year at this stage, there's not been a single film where I've seen a performance in both, not just female, but in male categories as well. Yeah. It's the best acted performance I've seen in a movie this year.
So it's male's a bit different in terms of competition, because I think you forget the Bone Temple. You got Ralph. I can't remember his name now in the film, but
I would say his performance is great, but it's the best performance I've seen this year. So, it eclipses everything, just because of everything that she does in the film, the way that she changes, the way that she's playing two characters, and I do think that the movie lives or dies based on. I mean, the movie's a very clever concept, but the reason I think partly why it's getting so much praise is because of a central performance. Like in loads of movies, there are those ones where you think of, I don't know, Wolf of Wall Street. It's as good as Leonardo DiCaprio's performance as Jordan Belfort. If it's a terrible performance in that role, the whole movie falls apart. And I feel, for me personally, that it's similar to this. But I mean, she goes through an ordeal in the film, and there are moments where you despise her and what she's doing. You then feel sorry for her. You like her. You don't like her. You feel sorry. Like it. In like sort of like that last one I said, where it gives you different feelings towards a character. She does all of that in the best part of 100 minutes, and it's, as Andy said, it's a sea change. So it will go from one bit to another bit. The situation will escalate, and then you don't quite know how you feel about it. It really plays with your head and your emotions all the way throughout.
Yeah, I think from what I'm seeing online as well, it's creating a lot of conversation around who is the bad person in this film. And obviously I have my opinions on who I think the bad person is. Yeah. But like reading through the comments on TikTok, there's like so many people arguing against each other. Yeah. And that's what the film's done. It's like it's been that good. It's created that conversation
Yeah.
of people
I'm
having all these interactions about it.
I'm going through your movies that you guys have watched because you've watched more than me. Obviously, Project Hail Mary in the male one would be Ryan
Yeah,
Gosling,
male
but
again. Yeah,
looking at Wuthering Heights, I'm guessing Margot Robbie's nowhere near it.
I don't know. Not for me.
The Bride, Zendaya.
The Bride, Zendaya.
Oh,
Do you
sorry,
mean
that's
the drama?
the drama.
Yeah.
No.
No. And
Okay.
even in The Bride, I mean, I can't remember because she was also in Hamlet. Her performance as the bride is brilliant. But this eclipses everything that I've seen up to this point. The only one that I would say you could argue would give her a run for her money is Ralph Fiennes in The Bone Temple. But I still
But
would
they're
put
separate
her just
categories, aren't
above.
I
Yeah,
think
but
the
like say
one.
if you had like one for
Mhm.
actor and actress,
Yeah.
then she goes slightly up. But in terms of actor, it's Ralph Fiennes in Bone Temple and
Well,
for
what
her
about
in
you're forgetting
Possession.
Return to Silent Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's the name of the actress in The Bride and Hamlet?
Oh, I
Because
can see
she
it.
like I think The Bride would give it competition because she does play three different characters in that
She
film as well.
does.
So she does
No,
have.
she's very good in The Bride. I think if I remember that on that review, I said that The Bride really only works because of her performance.
It's
So
Jesse Buckley.
Jessie Buckley. Yeah.
Jessie Buckley was very good in The Bride. But
Yeah.
it's funny because like me, I can't wait for you to watch this film, Welchy, so we can have that discussion.
Mhm.
Because me and Andy, when I was driving us like home, we were speaking about it. I don't think we disagreed, but we were very much sort of trying to work out in our heads on who is the bad person. I mean, it plays into that notion that I've seen in loads of horror movies before that, you know, you don't kind of tempt fate, and that whole notion of a life lesson that you can't force someone into loving you, and if you do, very very bad things will happen. That is kind of the bare bolts of the message of what the film was trying to do. But what the film also does is it kind of raises questions on in situations when you have a moment to speak up, you should. And there are other moments where if you leave things too long, an even better opportunity, like the whole grass is not always greener or is greener, there's a one bit I'm not going to spoil. There is one key bit that you really feel for Bear, and then something truly traumatic happens in this set scene that I actually like. My heart kind of bled for one set character, and for the fact that Bear was kind of too little, too late. I feel like Andy knows exactly what scene I'm referring to.
No, I'm a bit confused
Oh,
because
it's
I'm on
the
a different page to you in terms of feeling
uh,
sorry for Bear. So
no, it's the just the car. That's all I'll say.
the what?
The car. That's all I'll
Oh,
say.
the car. Okay,
Yeah.
but
There's
even then, like
something.
I don't feel like you feel sorry for Bear in that situation.
No, not really.
I
I
was.
feel more sorry for the somebody else in that scene for sure. Um, but I think I feel so because when the movie starts, he's so full of anxiety. You know, he doesn't know how to talk to girls. He has been pining, over Nikki for years and years and years as they work together. So he doesn't have the confidence. Like it's in the trailer, he's in this cafe and he's basically practicing what to say to Nikki. So you know that this guy doesn't really have the confidence to speak out. And now actually you feel sorry because it doesn't always, come easy to people who have social anxiety, and I feel for him in that sense. But I mean in terms of that, there's a better way that this story could have ended and a happier ending that is presented to you for about a second and then it's ripped away. And that's where I get the sympathy. But I also am in agreement that there isn't really a good or bad person in this scenario apart from maybe one person. But again, we need to have
Yeah.
that full debate once you've seen the film because there's a lot of different interpretations to it.
There's like two main characters and then sort of two side characters in this, but there's four main characters in terms of like the friendship group. And I think this story is like who is like Mr. Nice Guy type sort of story in terms of is anyone a nice guy in this film? Like obviously that's down to your perspective of how you think about things, but yeah, that's what the film does so good in terms of sort of making you think about these characters. And I think like the first 20 minutes does well building them up and sort of telling you what they're about, but then there's also further information that you find out about certain characters further down the line that you think, oh fuck, that just changed my whole perspective of what's already happened. So it does that really well as well, and I can't wait to go back and watch it again because I feel like there's probably so many hidden details as well that I've missed. Like seeing some of the social videos on social media, I know there's definitely a few bits that I missed, So I'm excited to watch it again and see if I pick up on those bits.
It's also funny because like the movie got an 18 for like strong violence and gore, and sort of you watch the first sort of 30 to 40 minutes, you're thinking it's not really much going on. There's a little bits of here and there, a little bit of sex, a little bit of sort of low level violence, and then as I said, there's an explosion in one sequence where I did break the code and turn out. I was like, that's why it's an 18. Bit similar to sort of Weapons, where Weapons was quite tame for about, I'd say, an hour, and then Gladys turns up and it just goes absolutely completely off the wall. I saw
Yeah,
there's a scene that has a lot of influence over something that happens in Weapons. I also think there's a lot of similarities to Jordan Peele's like Get Out and Us in that he captured it so brilliantly that it gives you enough time, not too much time, to get used to the characters to set up the scene. So when that storm does come, it really hits harder. And that's hard to do because, again, you go into a horror movie and most people will look at it and go, well, everyone's going to die but one person. That's the common trope of horror. So to find a way that you actually really care about characters, it takes a lot for a movie to do that. Sort of like one of the more surprised ones recently was Final Destination Bloodlines, that you're going into that film not really caring about who lives, who dies, but because the characters are written so well and the story is so effective, you really do care about the characters in that film. And this does exactly the same. It's down to good writing, really. The writing is so on point and is so strong, and that is then coinciding with fantastic performances from all of the cast. Although, Nikki steals the show, the rest of the cast is really well acted. I don't think there's one bad performance in this film. And sort of even the minor characters in it. Sort of when he goes into the shop with the One Wish, the person behind the counter, like they're on screen for about 5 minutes, but they were quite funny. I remember laughing at least 2 or 3 times in the way they were talking about the One Wish Wallow.
So I just had a quick flip through the Letterboxd reviews, and everyone's saying performance of a lifetime from this indie. Like she's about to blow up, blah blah. So it sounds like we could get a horror nomination in the Best Actress category, and it'd be great if she could win. And obviously, it sounds like she's going to go into great things. But what about the main guy? Was he just as good? Like, was he? Can you see good things for him in the future?
I think so. For what his character was, he performed that really well. And like I say, like you come out of that film thinking, who is actually the bad person in terms of, is it Bear, is it Nikki, is it one of the other characters? But yeah, he does what he's meant to do really well in terms of, like Stephen said, starting off with sort of lack of confidence. You're almost there like urging him to like be like, just do it, like just say something, just go for it sort of thing. And then sort of the explosion from, I think it's the chemistry between Bear, or I say chemistry, but the way that Bear and Nikki work together in the film as well is an important part of it. And they seem to work well in terms of both their characters mixing together. So yeah, I could see him going on to do good stuff, but I think Nikki is the standout one for sure.
His performance is good, but it kind of does get overshadowed by Nikki just because of how good she is. But then again, without Nikki, the movie it doesn't land.
Yeah.
So it's not really Bear's performance that lives or dies. It's Nikki's performance because of what she goes through. There's a brilliant moment about 2/3 of the way through where it basically shows you one person's two feelings, but the way they do it is so brilliantly done. Sort of, I haven't seen it done in that sort of way. Like, and I'm not sure if Andy knows what I'm referring to.
I know what you're about. Yeah.
That is so brilliantly devised, that sequence, because again, it makes you really care about a character, and it's done quite subtly. But it's when I start thinking about it, I was like, no, that was actually brilliantly done and brilliantly orchestrated as well. And it's funny because we mentioned that he does a lot of comedy. The audience, I think in our screening for about 40 minutes, me and Andy were laughing at stuff, and no one else was laughing. Because there was a number of things that you're not laughing because it's ha funny, but because of the awkwardness of it. And then there's one bit, I can't remember what it was, but the whole cinema just erupts. It's something I think Nikki does or says that we just all burst out laughing, and then you turned to me and you were like, oh, it's acceptable to laugh now. Because we were laughing at bits where like the entire cinema was just silent. Because again, it plays on that thing of like, if you've ever had a date where you're with someone and they're just not who you expect, and then you kind of have that awkward nervous laughter of like, I don't really want to be in your company, but I'm too afraid to say anything in case you turn completely berserk. And like we've all had that experience, whether it's a date or somewhere else, a social setting, which everyone can relate to, and the movie captures that feeling really, really
Yeah.
well.
Some of the moments where the audience burst out laughing was just facial expressions from
Yeah,
Indy's character Nikki.
yeah,
So the fact that she can cause that reaction from an audience just with a simple face
yeah,
change mood, like it was brilliant.
So
yeah.
Obsession was already in the top 50 movies of the year in terms of money taken home,
Yeah,
at 21 million, and it's overtaken Hokum already.
yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me.
It's already overtaken How to Make a Killing, which,
Yeah, that
by the
doesn't surprise me.
way, had a 25 million budget, so it didn't even
That was
reach
such a bad film.
didn't reach that budget. It's about to overtake Undertone,
Yes.
and I imagine
Says that with so much happiness.
if it's done 21 million in a weekend, I reckon this could get to what, 50 by the end of it's done, and that's
I think
not
even
low.
60. Yeah, 60, 65. I could see it easily hitting.
Yeah, because look at how far it's spreading now on social media as
Yeah,
well. Like you got to
yeah.
think, like the word of mouth for this film is going to be like crazy.
If
I
it hits
actually
60,
think that-
it will beat Bone Temple.
Wow.
Wow. I actually think it will be one of those horror movies that a lot of non-horror fans will go and watch.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that don't tend to go to horror movies will sit down and watch it because yes, it is a horror movie by default, but and I know Andy said there's a few jump scares. Maybe it takes a lot for me to jump, and
Yeah,
I do.
but
He's completely spot on
they're
that.
not jump scares in terms of the films. Like in those moments, it's not a scary setting. I'm not jumping
No,
because I'm
no,
waiting
no.
for like it's not dark and waiting for something to jump out. Like you don't expect like it's jump scares
You're
in terms of just not
yeah.
expected at all.
You're
I agree with you. I
you're
would recommend this to people who don't like
yeah
horror films because
because yeah, no, I absolutely
what you
agree
said.
because again, no, what you were saying was bang on in terms of the fact that it has a jump scare, but it's because the camera will cleverly in escalation of the situation, and then you will go whoa. But yeah, it's a very clever horror movie because it skates along sort of thriller drama, but definitely has like it is a horror movie, no question
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
100%.
But it's got a number of stuff in it. A bit similar to like Weapons, where I know Weapons obviously is a horror movie, but there's a lot of stuff in Weapons that you could argue fits
This is
more
a
in
lot better
thriller and
Weapons.
drama. No, I'm not saying that. Like, I gave Weapons a 10 anyway, so I gave them the same rating. But what I mean is that again, there are bits in that film that become more of like an action thriller, and then the horror explodes. And Obsession does a similar way in terms of its
I
different
would
stages.
agree with you, but I feel like for me, Obsession, like with Weapons, I felt like a lot of it was there was too much build up before it had that explosion. Whereas although Obsession doesn't explode straight away, it still has all those moments in the build up where you're like, fucking hell, what have I just watched in terms of the wow factor and disgust factor of what's actually happened. It's not like crazy things happening, but in terms of what's actually happening, it's almost thinking like
this isn't really a spoiler, and again, it is shown a little bit in the trailer, Welchy, but there's one bit where basically Bear is talking. No, it's not. Bear is talking with his friend at work, and where the camera pans, Nikki is like on this desk, and she just watches Bear, and the scene goes on for about 3 minutes, but it's like a wide shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept laughing because my eye was just going to Nikki the whole time, and she doesn't move. It's like she becomes like she's possessed by Medusa, like she's turned into stone, and she has this like really distinct smile. And I was like, again, it's stuff like that is so clever because your focus is on what Bear and his friend are talking about, but in the background, because they never spot it, they never spot what she's doing.
They do because he turns around and says to him,
"Oh no!" At the end of the scene, no, what I mean is, yeah, but for a good
so they definitely know.
No, what I mean is, what I meant was that for a good 2.5 minutes, they don't. And then it's like, is she still looking?
I think they know she is there, but they're choosing to obviously have their conversation without obviously constantly switching to her. But
that's not the point of what I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make is that was a very clever way of executing that scene and the message that it was trying to say.
So my final question is obviously new director, directorial debut. Do you think this is one of those movies which is going to be like a cult hit like we've been talking about, but then when he next makes a film, and on the poster or in the trailer, and it says from the director of Obsession.
Yeah, you'd have to go watch it.
It's one of those movies where everyone's like, "Oh, okay, I'll go and see that then."
He will be, as I said, he will be. I think he's going to be like the next Jordan Peele, because when Us came out, it had from the director of Get Out, and Us got 94, 95%. Quite different to Get Out. It was more of a horror movie than Get Out, because Get Out actually won awards in the comedy section of the Golden Globes, which was like, how has this been given as a comedy? But like with Us, it kind of pushed, and it kind of was him showcasing, like he managed to add sort of a home invasion with doppelgangers, with a bit of action, with a bit of comedy. And I feel like this director's going to do the same. I think he's on that trajectory for sure. And I feel like he took a lot of inspiration. I think when I go back and watch it, I will pick up a lot of references from other horror movies. Obviously, I was blown away by it in my first screening, but I'd love to go back and see what other inspiration from other horror movies has he taken that you then see, because there must be a lot in there for sure.
He's already working on his next film. I don't know if you've seen this. It's called Anything But Ghosts, and he's directing that. And it's to do with two con artists that basically go around pretending to be ghost hunters, and then actually go into
ghosts,
something. Yeah. So the concept of that does look good.
I think I also read that he might be doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He's doing. Yeah, I saw that. He's
doing a reboot of that, which all of those up to the point of Texas Chainsaw Massacre since the original have all been pony. So that's a bit of a risk because I trust him to do a good job on that.
With Obsession as well, they have the route of they could do another Obsession, maybe not call it that, but in terms of they could go down another Wish route. Because obviously there have been other people that have made wishes with these One Wish Willow things. And there is a part in the film where it shows like almost like a Reddit thread of people saying, like, does this work? And then there's people saying like, oh yeah, what they wish for it does work, sort of thing. Yeah. So they could lean into either one of those examples. But
very final question. Obviously Scary Movie 6 coming out next weeks away.
Yes.
Do you think this would have been one of those ones? Obviously it's too late now, I imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's funny ways to have made
Scary Movie stuff.
Yeah.
100%. Especially with Nikki, like her character, they could easily put Scary Movie in some way.
And if they do like another one, then this would definitely be added to the parodies that they do. I can't believe that we're just under a month away from that. There's all that I love the whole thing about A Wish. The other bit that there's a bit in the movie where I laugh so loudly when we talk about someone with a wish and their reaction. Again, I don't think it was meant to be funny, but I fucking laughed my ass off at that bit again, Andy. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's probably one of the most stupid parts of the films, but
but even in its stupid moments, it works because if you're in that situation, what the character does would be probably what 90% of people would do in that situation, and then the fact that that situation then becomes true, it's just brilliant. And the more I think about it, I was like, everything that they do is nothing's done by accident. It's so intentional from start to finish. And it's great to see a horror movie that actually is intelligent, because I have seen a lot of horror movies that are just stupid. Return to Silent Hill is a perfect example of just a stupid horror movie from start to back with no brain. So it's what a pleasure to watch a movie that actually has so many deeper meanings. I would love for someone to kind of do a deep dive into all of the different meanings of the movie, because I feel like that would be a really interesting read or podcast in terms of if you were analysing this film.
Well, it does sound like a fun movie. It's definitely one I will watch before the end of the year. A bit like Together last year. When you two reviewed Together, I was like, I have to see this. Obviously, watch
this is a must watch. I can't see anyone not liking this film. That's why I'd always recommend it.
I would always say, watch it. You can try and get to watch it at the cinema.
It's not going to happen, I don't think, but I'll try and watch it when it gets to home. But cool. Thanks for reviewing that, guys. It sounds like a lot of fun. We will, I'm sure, be talking about it later on in the year, or at the beginning of next year when we get to movie of the year time. But for now, we're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about what else we've been watching. Welcome back to the Late Night Movie Podcast. Stephen and Andy have just been reviewing Obsession, and now we're going to talk about what else we've been playing. But before we watching. But before we do that, a couple things to go through. I realized we should have, at the beginning of the episode, announced our next movie on the Wheel of Cinema, because we didn't do that last time.
Oh yeah.
So
yes,
we have.
And it's going to be a surprise for me because I forgot what it is.
Wait,
Yeah,
how
I
did
forgot as well.
I just
actually.
realised that Bigsy knows it, and how did he know it? I don't know how he knows it. Did you tell him, Andy?
Did we play Discord? No, well, I can't even remember what the film is.
I don't remember
Yeah,
telling him.
neither.
Oh no,
I
he
don't
doesn't
remember
know. He
what the
doesn't
movie
know.
was.
No, sorry. Bigsy was messaging. Well, I was streaming. He was talking to me about it. I think he just said, obviously, because it's a horror movie with a 1 rating, he was like, "Oh, that's going to be fun." He didn't actually know what the film was.
Oh, okay.
So the film is
You're accused of something you haven't actually done.
yeah. Sorry, Bigsy. It's called.
Oh,
Sorry.
based on the game, isn't it? I just remembered.
Well, I think so. It's got the same name as the
Yeah.
game. It's Alone in the Dark,
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember
which
now.
is
Was it
available.
the first one or the second one? There's 2, isn't there?
I don't know. It's the first one. It's just Alone in the Dark. It's Amazon Prime, and it is not rated below 1 because there was no movies we could find streamable. Actually, I don't think there's any movies
Like,
at all in that year bracket.
Yeah. This was the lowest rated film we could find.
And it was like
Well, it was
1.3 or
joint
something.
Yeah, 1.3.
So a bit like Alarum. I think maybe we just get rid of that category. Maybe make it bigger.
Yeah,
like
maybe
0 to
there's nothing
1.5,
down there.
and it gives us a bit of
Yeah.
a wider one, and then
More
that way we
scope
can
to
get
have
rid
a
of
look.
it every week, like every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
I think we'll do that
Like
actually.
That's true.
I think 0 to 1 is too difficult to find. It's just like you only live once, and that's it. So Alone in the Dark, that will be the movie we're watching next on Wheel of Cinema. Now, before we go into what we've been watching, I have a quick game for us to play, as we always do.
I hope it's the emoji game again.
It's the Emoji Movies.
Oh, let's go. I'm positive.
So on the game,
Now, for those of you that
go on,
yeah.
Stephen.
For those of you that don't listen to the Late Night Gamer podcast, I was really smart because this one over here said, "Oh, I'm really bad at this," and then completely and utterly obliterated me in the subsequent quiz. I'm hoping to do it better with this.
Yes, so Emoji Movies is pretty simple concept. I have 7 this time, 7 slides
Okay.
Oh,
with different emojis on the screen, and
have you made them harder?
I think
Well, it should
some
be
of
a
them are
lot harder.
difficult, but maybe not. I don't know. They all represent a different movie, and Andy
They're
and
all
Stephen,
movies, no
all
TV
movies, all movies.
Okay.
Andy and Stephen have to tell me what movie it is.
Please say you copied my Deadpool one from last week.
I didn't.
It's
I liked it though.
good.
I think you'll like mine. I think you'll like them.
Okay.
There's one.
Okay.
One is very tough, and
That's
very.
good. It makes you think.
No, but it's not just tough. It's a bit shit. Like it's
Okay.
hard to find an emoji for it.
That's not what you want to hear before you go
Okay.
into a game. That you're giving us a pre-warning to one of the ones that you put down.
If one of you get that one, I tell you what. If one of you get that one without any help, 2 points.
Okay.
Because I just don't think it's possible. But
Interesting.
maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Emojis number 1.
All right.
What the hell?
This is good. It's at least stumped you more than last week. So for audio listeners, I mean, now's a good time to switch to video if you can. But there's an emoji. I'm not going to describe them because it might help them. But there's 2 emojis on the screen which relate to a movie.
What the hell? This one's thrown me straight away.
Oh no, should say what you see, but that's not.
I tested
gonna
these
help.
on Tay earlier, and
Okay.
she does not watch many movies. She got this very quickly,
Oh, really?
Oh
Pretty quickly?
no!
quicker than you two. Like
Oh!
Go on, Andy.
Yes, man.
Incorrect.
Oh,
not-
But you know
That's
what?
not-
Was
You
that
know
sort
what?
of yes?
It's almost. I would almost allow it, but I can't because I can't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why at the
okay.
end. Stephen, you got a free shot here.
Okay, this is really fucking stumped me, and this is gonna be
Yes, man. It's
embarrassing.
a
This is gonna be
fucking
pissy.
great shout, Andy. I like that.
That is a very
You're on the right lines.
Yeah. Man.
like I want to say like
If Steven's miles off, I think I should get a point.
No,
No,
I'll
'cause
give
you
you a
didn't
tip of
get
the
it
hat.
right.
You deserve a little. I don't know.
happy
Happy.
man. Yeah, like thumbs up for happy man. I'm stumped.
Happy is that gonna chill?
So
No,
maybe this one's harder than I thought. It's Good Boy.
Oh, okay.
oh, good as in. Oh,
That's why
I feel like it's more like a yes.
I
but
see your
I
point.
get
But some,
Yeah.
like if you said, "How are you okay?" You go, "Yes, I'm good." You know, like it's,
Yeah.
Good,
I get
and
that.
then
It's
good
because
boy.
and
it's because
it's
you
not,
just
it's
had a
definitely
boy.
not a
If you had a
man.
dog,
Which is
yeah,
why
I can see that's a boy.
Yes Man is very good and probably would be allowed a point, but it's definitely a boy, not a man there. But
Yeah.
It's just not a point. I think.
unlucky.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's unlucky. I
Yeah.
like the call. It was
Yeah.
enough to make me
It's a
think,
good shout.
fuck it is. Okay, second emojis. And he was very slightly quicker, but VAR
No.
might call me out on that, but I think Andy was
Yeah.
slightly quicker.
This one is very easy. Heart, eyes.
Heart eyes, yeah. There you go.
I swear to God, if VAR proves that I was first, you beat me all three last week.
Okay. Number 3.
Oh, what the fuck? Hmm.
Oh, easy.
Stephen.
Easy.
Oh, okay.
Thunderbolts.
Wow.
Oh,
Stephen, this was a
This one is-
2-pointer.
that was 2-pointer.
Oh,
Well, I just thought it's a wrench. It's not a bolt.
part of yeah, they're all part of the
That
same.
can't be a
Hey,
2-pointer.
let's
Okay.
go.
I mean, I said 2 points. So it's 2 points. I'm sorry,
You said
Andy.
2 points. It's 2 points. Let's go.
I thought that'd be a lot harder. I mean, maybe it's
welcome.
because I wasn't.
Stephen
I wasn't
technically
happy
said,
with it.
"Oh, that's easy."
He did say it, didn't he?
Still get me 2 points for it.
Okay, next one. Stephen,
Lion King?
incorrect.
No, I know it.
Andy,
Wolfman.
correct.
Oh.
Lion.
Yeah, I don't know where I was thinking. I wanted to get
Lion
there
King is
quickly,
fun.
and then I panicked because I thought Andy was going to beat me to it.
I thought of Lion
I
King.
did almost put my hand up. I was thinking of like other films that are sort of similar, like The Good Boy, but then because you already had The Good Boy, oh that shit.
I did
Like-
think of Lion King, but it seemed way too easy because it'd been a picture of a lion and a crown.
Yeah,
That's just
true.
way too obvious. Well done.
And
I'm
of course
calling that
you-
2-2.
Yep.
Next one. Okay, so for audio listeners, there's 3 emojis on this one.
Ooh.
I'm proud of this
Oh,
one. Stephen,
I've got it.
Stephen.
I've got it. Crazy Stupid Love.
Well done. Well
nice. I don't
done.
think I would have got that.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that one.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a
that
good
is
one,
very, very good. Very good.
For the audio listeners, it's a emoji doing a crazy face, man with a palm on his face, and a love heart. Crazy, stupid, love. Okay,
I'm
That's
impressed with
good
that
film.
one.
3-2. Next one. Andy,
Happy Feet.
correct.
No, he beat me too.
Okay, this is good because this next one wins.
We don't. Oh shit, man.
Final one. Let's go. Andy,
Saltburn.
well done. Siltburn.
Oh man.
I thought Steven was going to be on that one. Did
Well,
you
No,
he didn't put his hand up,
it-
no.
No, it took me a
Yes.
split second. Saltburn, yeah.
Well done. Wow. That was
I'm
competitive.
still
I
the
like
champ of
that.
the emoji game. Yeah, that's fun. I love those ones.
Good. That was good fun. Let me quickly move.
A lot
off
closer
here.
than last week, so that's better for me.
It was closer than last
Yeah.
week. You're right. Cool. Well,
Only because he got 2 points on the Thunderbolt one. Just so.
that is also true.
Well, she said that is so impressive to get, so, you know, I'm just an expert.
When I thought of the film
film
Thunderbolts, I was like, please tell me there's an emoji for bolts. And I just couldn't
You
find
could
it.
have done a lightning bolt.
But then I already had that on the Thunder bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
it would have
right,
been
yeah.
like Thunder. Or
You know
lightning.
how like we say that
Yeah.
I'm an expert in the soundtrack quiz. I actually think we have found around
emoji
that
expert,
Andy
yeah.
is getting close. Yeah, because you're on it. Sort of. I didn't think we were sort of like, oh, I've got a couple minutes, and then you're like, oh, Andy spits out. I'm like, how? Because I can't
Yeah.
obviously see him when we're doing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was
Also,
like,
there
no,
was
I
there was a
can't-
VAR check in there.
Yeah.
I'm confident
There
with
will be-
my.
We have to go with whatever.
I'm confident
it
with my
time.
linesman
Oh,
abilities. So
That's convenient because this is convenient, guys. Because what happens is that if Andy is the loser, then he says that VAR like means that we have to then award it right. But if it works in his favour, we have to go with the decision. There'll be more uproar to that than West Ham v Arsenal last weekend.
there fucking won't be. Yeah, it's still going on.
I won't be.
It's funny. After we done the game last week, I had a video pop on my TikTok, and it was like an emoji quiz, and don't worry, none of those are on there. But like someone had done a quiz and it had like 10 different emojis on there, and you had to guess the film from like 10 emojis. It was crazy.
God, what I can't even think what that'd be. You sent me one of them, didn't you?
Like what one was like Toy Story, and it had like a dog, a Spanish flag because Buzz
Oh,
speaks
so it
Spanish in one of the
wasn't
films,
necessarily
a
just
cowboy hat.
a direct word for word one. It was more.
No, yeah, it was more
Okay,
symbols, I guess.
I might
Yeah.
introduce that. I might
Welchy,
introduce that.
you should do
Yeah,
that.
I might introduce
I've
that.
got a better chance of winning that, I reckon.
Okay, what we've been watching, I'll give you two a break because you've been talking about Obsession. Sons of Anarchy, still been watching that. We're a couple of episodes into season 3 now.
Nice.
Very much enjoying that. Have you seen it, Stephen?
No, I don't think I have actually.
Would you care for spoilers? Not major
Not
ones,
really.
just
It's
I've
been
got
out for like
too
4
many. I've
years.
got too many TV series to
Yeah.
watch at some point, so I won't even remember if you do spoil it.
It's been out a
And
long
I do
time.
tend to watch it.
It's this season, Andy. So at the end of season 2, Abel, you won't remember his name. Jax's kid gets kidnapped.
Yep.
By the Irish. It's all dealing with that now.
Okay.
It's very, very fucking
I
good.
watched it now. Thanks for fucking spoiling that.
It's really good. Jax is like getting to like a darker place, so it's good.
Yeah.
The Boys
Sure.
is more important to talk about because I am 3 episodes in to season 4.
Oh, come on, you're getting
And
there.
I am thoroughly enjoying it. I feel like it really picks up from season 3 and like really kicks on. And even like the
So wait,
beginning
you
of
got
season
like
4 has been great.
you got to fight through season 1 and 2, and then the real good stuff begins from 3.
It's
is what
not
you're
that 1 and 2
basically
are
saying.
bad. I just think they're good. There's good moments. Homelander's
Yeah.
fucking fantastic throughout, and it's. I feel like there's parts in season 1 and 2. I'm like, can we just go back and see more Homelander? Whereas
Yeah.
from season 3 onwards, I'm like, actually no, stuff's happening with our characters now, which I'm like, yeah, this is fucking sick. And still Homelander's amazing as well. But yeah, season 4 is great. It's what was the one that just happened, Andy? I don't know if you remember. There's like they're doing like an ice skating play for like
Yeah, I remember.
and
I've watched season 4 twice. So.
that just happened. I've just seen that bit in Homelander
Yeah,
accidentally
I know
kills one because they shine light in his eyes. But then the ice skates go up on one of the girl's fingers. I'm like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
It's
Yeah, I remember that scene.
brutal. I bring it up as well because obviously next week we're supposed to be reviewing season 5 of The Boys. I'm not gonna catch up. I've got 5 in this season and then a whole 8. There's 13 episodes. It's just not gonna happen.
A lot to do. Yeah.
Obviously, Andy, you will have finished it.
Yeah.
Stephen, you're not watching it. I am tempted to bring or ask Jack to come on because I'm guessing he's watching it. So there will be 2 of you talking if Jack wants to and if he's available. But it's difficult because I cannot have this spoiled because I'm enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
And to confirm, I probably won't join that only because Boys is on my list to watch. I want to go into it not knowing.
It is
anything,
also a
really.
potential touching all the wood in the world the day Arsenal win the league. Potential. I don't want to fucking jinx it like Stephen does.
I'm not saying anything, mate. But I will say that next Sunday we could be very, very happy, or
Miserable.
I'm going to bed at 6 p.m. So yeah.
So I think we will go ahead with the review, Andy. I think even if it's just you, or if Jack joins, and then I keep thinking about this, and I think, do I just say, you two crack on? I will just literally leave, and like one of you will just text me when to come back, or we just make it spoiler free, and then once I catch up, we can have like an extra spoiler.
We can do it spoiler free because like when I'm talking about it, Jack will know what I'm referring to, like certain parts of the film. Whereas I like sort of refer to it to you, you obviously won't know what I'm talking about. So we can talk about certain things in code, and then just talk about the impact and what
you think of the
whether
ending, blah blah blah.
Yeah, whether we've enjoyed it.
Yeah, so we'll go with that. I think by next Sunday, I'll definitely have watched 4 and 5, maybe 6. So I'll be like close to season 5. It's probably going to take me. We're away next week, or 2 weeks away, so it's going to take me probably to the end of June, probably to really catch up. But
all I will say is the directors of this show have been hyping up this last episode like fucking crazy. So they better kill the landing after everything I've seen online.
A bit like Strange Things.
Yeah. I think also, Welchy, it's unfortunate timing that not only like on the gaming side a lot, but this next week, like football is mad when you think about month. You've
the
got
next
2
the
days.
next 2 days is
basically.
just football. Yeah,
It's just football, really.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to try and.
it's,
I've
it's
been like
more
thinking about.
it's more the games. Like we'll go on to it on the
Yeah,
gaming podcast tomorrow. I have been flat out on games. Like I
yeah.
have been playing way too
I think
many, and I just had no time. I sit there and think I could watch one. I'm like, I can't. Like this sounds weird
yeah.
saying I can't. Like obviously
We're
can, but I'm like, no, I want to pursue the
we're
games.
we're all a little bit. Again, I know this is the movie side, but we are all a little bit like that. Like I think I
Mhm.
spoke about it last week that I've got a whole list of stuff to watch, and even this weekend, sort of. I watched a little bit of like more Ted season 2. I'm nearly at the end of that, but they're like half an hour here and there. But obviously, we then had the FA Cup final, dinner, and then I had a whole evening of games. That was Saturday, and then I've been gaming all day today. So, and then there's football as well. So it's kind of like there's just so much. It's impossible to try and keep up on too. So I do feel for you if you're trying to get through. I think if we weren't like no football, no games, you probably had a fair
Oh,
shot at getting
I'd have
through
smashed it if I had
a lot of
nothing else.
things, but
Maybe
that's
for the
kind of
fact that
two major massive things that are stopping you from doing that, and
I
that's the
should-
issue that I'm having with my list.
in hindsight, I should have started the boys like a month earlier, 2 months earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just wasn't.
we've had a lot
be-
of stuff come out though, like Paradise. We watched that. Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
that's true. There's Paradise.
Invincible.
Obviously, Stranger Things. Not fucking Invincible.
Yeah, Strange Things.
Yeah,
So it hasn't actually been that possible for me.
Yeah.
Another just one more scene, Andy. I don't know if you remember the. Oh, you said you watched it twice. I think it's season 4, not season 3.
Yeah,
It's definitely season 4. Homelander's son is in his room in the tower, and he's
Yeah.
playing a video game,
yeah.
and it's
I don't remember what he's
basically
playing.
Mortal Kombat, but with all the boys' characters in it.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And I was
Oh.
thinking,
Yeah, I
wow,
remember
we
seeing
literally
that.
spoke about this on the gaming podcast whenever we
did.
reviewed Invincible Versus, saying what game would we want. We
Yeah,
all said
is
the
that them?
boys.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
The
about
boys
a
would
week
be
later,
next.
I watched it. I was like, it's there. Just give it to us.
They gave us an Easter egg.
And it
Yeah.
looked fucking good. I was like, I could play the shit out of this. So I like that. I thought that was really cool. Like, obviously, they do so many things like this where they show what having heroes in real life would be like.
Yeah,
But like
they do a
Invincible,
lot of marketing.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And sorry, I just
That's
hit
what I
my
like
mic.
about the boys. They have like all their movies inside the TV show that they
Yes.
do.
Dawn,
which I
Dawn
think
of the
is cool.
Seven or whatever it's called, or like
Yeah.
all that stuff.
it really sounds like a massively just fucked up
Have-
alternative superhero universe. The boys. The
It's
more I hear
very.
about
It is very.
Yeah. I don't want to give anything away. Have you seen the Ain Train movie yet? And who is in that?
Yes,
Or who?
Will Ferrell.
Yeah. So like when I saw him, I was like, what the fuck? That's so random. They just directed a movie. Yeah.
I know something. I know Seth Rogen's involved, and I think he's something in the new season. So I don't want to know.
No.
No, but he's in
I was
season
hoping
3.
you could
He's
do
in
that.
season 3.
Is it?
Yes, he's in season 3. He's part of
Oh shit. I don't...
Hero Gasm, maybe. Can't remember. But I didn't realize he's a producer
Right.
on this show.
Seth Rogen
Oh,
works
really?
on both Invincible and The Boys.
Yeah, but he's very
Wow.
very little involvement in the boys. But he is an executive
Yeah, I was
producer
gonna
apparently.
say. Oh, that's cool.
So he's
I
very
can't remember if
involved
popped up
in the
as season
background.
3, but
Yeah, it's like he's on like
He's
FaceTime.
definitely-
is that
He's
all
got
you've
a-
seen? Who's popped
That's
up?
all I've seen.
Okay, cool. The
He's
scene in season 5 is really cool.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure, but yeah, he's in
got,
season
he's
3.
got a fucking deal with Amazon.
He's like wanking off on FaceTime to someone.
Yeah.
Oh, to
It's so weird. when you start talking about
the Soldier Boy's ex-girlfriend, Crimson
Oh,
Countess. I don't know where she is. Crimson Countess. Yeah.
She's got a couple of names. Yeah, I know who you mean.
This is actually a superhero show because the more I hear about it, I'm hearing
No,
like scenes of
honestly.
people wanking. I'm like,
That's
What?
that's tame. That is the
That is
tame
very
part of the
tame.
show.
Yeah.
is it?
Some of the stuff that happens.
The beginning, the introduction to season 3 is the
Oh,
most
it's so
disturbing
fun.
shit I've seen in my life.
Do you know?
To be
Do
fair-
you understand now what I mean when I said like season 2? I feel like first episode of season 2 something's fucked up happens.
Not the same
But
level
then
as number
season-
3. Yeah.
But then you watch season 3, you're like, fuck no, how have they just topped that with
You-
something even more weird and fucked up?
To be fair, and he's told me that on numerous occasions where we spoke about The Boys that he said that every opening gets more and more fucked up, and he says season 3 takes the cake. So I can't
Yeah.
even comprehend what that is. So I would say that I'm looking forward to seeing it, but there's another part of me thinking I don't know if I am. I don't think I'm mentally ready for whatever is going to greet me when I get to that.
It's very good, and I'm looking forward to watching more. That's all I've been watching. Andy, what the fuck is Believe Me?
Yes. Oh, it's the TV show on ITV based on the true story of the black cab driver.
I've heard
Who,
about this. Yeah, I've heard
like-
this.
he basically like sexually assaulted like loads of women
Oh,
over a period of time, and they done a show on it to tell that story. So yeah, I watched that.
is it good?
Actor was in sorry, just to interrupt there. The actor was in Ashes to Ashes, and he's played a lot of like really seedy characters before. But he said this was his toughest ever role that he had to portray in terms of
Yeah.
being the Black Cat driver.
Yeah, he said he read the script and was like, to get in the mind of that sort of character, someone that does something like that. Obviously, he said he found it difficult. But yeah, it's just a short four episodes, I think it is. So it's quite a quick watch. I quite like watching things that are based on true stories. I feel like this tells the story
Yeah.
quite well, and then sort of shows because like obviously with it being called Believe Me, how it starts is that none of the girls basically get believed that they were sexually assaulted by a black cab driver. It's like the police almost say,
Not
a black cab
cabs,
driver, how could that be possible? How could that be possible? And it's like they almost get dismissed. So you're there sitting there thinking, what the hell are the cops even saying? Like not even like following up on like all the leads, but it's like, how can that even be possible, sort of thing. So like you're sitting there watching it thinking, fucking hell, if that was all true, which obviously they ended up suing the police for it under some certain act. So yeah, it's quite fascinating if you like true story stuff and want to watch that. It's quite an easy watch.
Cool. So it's called Believe Me. It's on ITVX.
Yeah, it's on ITV. You can
Yeah,
watch
I'll
them all on Player. Yeah.
I'll give it a watch because it does. I've heard good things about it. It's got a good write up.
Obviously, you've been watching Daredevil and finished it. No spoilers,
Yeah,
please,
finished
because
Daredevil.
I
liked
haven't
it.
seen it yet. You liked it, but I saw a post saying that Marvel have promised not to. What did they say? Not to. So apparently there's a big twist or something that happens in it, or like I don't know if it's a new character or a returning character, whatever it is. But they said they won't let it. They won't let it go. They're gonna make sure it pays off. Would you know what that's referring to?
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, you say you
Because
liked
it's like-
it, not loved it.
Yeah, towards the end. To be fair, like, what happens at the end of season 1?
He's with Punisher, and then
yeah. So with season 2, originally I thought, oh, it starts off a bit slow, but I got like I then remembered how it starts off, and I was like, actually, that's complete bullshit. So the way it's obviously I'm not going to go into details, but it starts off pretty quickly and jumps straight into something. And then because I watched like the first couple of episodes, and then like Invincible came out, The Boys came out, everything came out. So I then delayed watching it and watched it all last weekend or whatever it was. So it does start off quite strong. I quite enjoyed that overall show. There is sort of a twist where someone does pop up, who I won't say who it is, and then I really liked the last episode. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what they do with season 3 with the way that season 2 ends. I don't know if everyone enjoyed the last episode or not, but I quite liked it. I thought, yeah, it was a good ending for me.
Trying to work out who the surprise character could be. Well, I know.
To be fair,
I'm pretty sure Jessica Jones is in it, right?
Yeah, so she pops up. So I guess if you know that, I think that is who the surprise character is meant to be.
It's in the trailer, isn't it?
I don't know.
Or maybe it was just like leaked set images. I'm sure that was known.
Unless it means actors, because there's an actor who pops up, and I was like, oh, I had no idea who you was in this. But he doesn't really play like a special character, I'd say. He's like barely in it, really.
Okay.
But it's someone that Stephen likes, so.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ralph Fiennes.
It's someone you. No. He doesn't even know who that is.
Stephen knows who Ralph Fiennes is.
Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
He's the actor who's going to be in the upcoming BBC drama playing Gareth Southgate, isn't he?
What?
Have you seen the trailer for that?
Are you taking
There's
You're taking the piss, Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, there's a
you know who
drama
he is,
coming out
right?
next Sunday on
Ralph
BBC
Fiennes,
One.
as in 28 years later. Ralph Fiennes.
Oh no! Sorry. No, do you know who I'm thinking of Joseph Fiennes.
I don't know who that
American Horror
is.
Story. He is basically portraying in a drama when Gareth Southgate got the England job and then went
Yeah, I know.
to
Yeah.
Euro 2020.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting my Joseph and my Ralph mixed up together. Yeah,
That's funny.
I started doubting myself. I
Ralph.
was like, am I saying his
Yeah,
name wrong?
no, he's in 28. Yeah, 28 years later, the Bone Temple, and in
Yeah,
Kingsman.
I can't think who this surprise character is. Like, because there is another appearance from someone, but they're not really in it. It's not like
Yeah,
I wouldn't feel bad telling you they're in it because they're in it for like 2 seconds.
it might not be a character. It might be an event that takes place.
Maybe it's the last episode.
Okay.
I don't know, but I know what bit they're referring to. It's the last episode. Something big happens.
Okay. Cool.
Changes whole Daredevil.
Daredevil
really
or Marvel?
skate.
Potentially both. It depends if Daredevil's going to show up in like Spider-Man and stuff.
Interesting. Yeah.
You're really skating on spoilers here.
Yeah. I'll watch it soon. Obviously, Boys is priority right now, and then actually probably straight after that. I don't think I'm watching anything else like myself. Me and Tay have things we watch, but I've got to hear that Andy, you watched Insidious, but am I right in saying that you watched it with him, Stephen?
Yeah, we had the horror movie night that our friends hosted, which was very, very fun. There was a lot of interactive horror stuff that happened whilst we were watching Insidious. But yeah, I'd already seen Insidious multiple times, but it was Andy and his partner's first time actually seeing the first Insidious movie.
It was shit. Basically, it was way too old. It's all the things, like all the entities that you see, because it's such an old film. I don't think that helps. I feel like if I watched this when it first came out, maybe I would have found it a lot better and scarier. But
you can't keep criticizing a film
2010?
because it's old.
2010's not that
Yeah,
bad.
It's just shit.
What? Can I just jump in? Can I just jump in there, Welchy? Right, when Insidious came out, it was off the back of Paranormal Activity, which obviously at that stage had taken the world by storm. I found the first Insidious very, very creepy and scary. When I rewatched it, I will admit that it doesn't hold up like other horror movies do. I will admit that. Partly because we've probably seen so many iterations of what Insidious were trying to do, but it was the first, and there were stages even that I watch now that are incredibly creepy. What I didn't anticipate is that literally by its third act, it literally just throws every single entity onto the screen, and that does become less scary. But I still, if someone said to me, what is like one of the OG classic horror movies from the 2010s that you have to watch, I would still recommend Insidious.
Yeah, but you watched it when it first came out, and know it was like you've always got the history behind it of being the first film to do that sort of stuff. Whereas I've watched about 1,000 films at cinema over the last 2 years, which are a lot more modern and updated versions of it, I guess. But
you can't blame that you weren't around watching it when it came out. Like, that's a you problem. That's not a movie problem. But I do get what you're saying. Like, you can't criticize. You can't say, oh, because it's old.
Because it is, because if they'd done a newer version of it, it's because of like the entities and the way they look on screen, and the port. If it was updated and those look better on screen, like the main entity in this film's like looks a bit like Nightcrawler from X-Men, just with a red face, and I was like, it's not scary at all.
But dude, it came out in 2010. Like, they can't. It's not. Well, you're basing it on the movie when it, like, the fact that it's Insidious.
Yeah, that's my point. It came out in 2010, so obviously those things on screen don't look as scary as how they look back then.
Up here. I don't feel that's a fair criticism. That the fact that you've seen so many new movies, that's not Insidious's problem. That you're late.
I'm not saying it is their problem. I'm just saying it's because of that reason. It doesn't look that good on screen in this day and age, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I potentially could have enjoyed it when it first came out.
I would agree. I would understand Andy's opinion because I've not seen what's the famous one? Oh shit! The girl spins her head round.
Oh, The Exorcist.
Exorcist. And I imagine if I was to watch that today, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this pile of shit?" Because it does not.
Yeah.
I mean, it might age, I might be wrong, but I struggle with older films. 2010 is not a fucking old film, Andy. I would argue against you with that one. But if you don't like how things look, I get it.
In terms of the CGI or whatever they use, like, it doesn't look good on the screen. It's like when we reviewed Con Air. Like, I remember enjoying and loving that film when I was a kid. At the time, rewatched it and thought, oh, she's hasn't aged as well as I thought it would have. Didn't enjoy it as much on the second watch. But I can only say I enjoyed it because I've already watched it. I haven't watched Insidious, so I can't say I enjoyed it back then.
What would you
hasn't
score
stood up so well now, but like 3 out of 10.
Oh wow, that low.
Yeah, it's just I think because I've watched all the Conjuring films, all the horror films that we watched this year, last year, and whenever. Like, they're just 100 times better than what Insidious is compared to those films now. I'm not trying to say that Insidious wasn't a 10 out of 10 film when it released, but for me watching it now, I just didn't enjoy it as much as those.
When it was released, if we would do the podcast then, which would have been interesting because I would have been 12 when we were doing that. But anyway, I would probably like settle for like a 9. I do agree with what Andy's saying that I don't think it has held up as well. Like when you go back to the first Conjuring movie in 2013, that
I watched that
does
recently.
hold
Yeah,
up.
see,
I watched that recently.
Yeah, I watched that and I watched that, enjoyed the story, and was terrified watching it because of how dark it was and the jump
And that's only
scares
3
and
years
stuff.
later, so I can kind of see your point.
Yeah, and I didn't
And from the
have that
same
with
filmmaker as well.
and I didn't have those jump scares with Insidious. I think maybe there was one, but in terms of like all the other jump scares with the entities, because they're visibly on screen and they're like basically just like people, I didn't find it scary. Like
You've always
shown
shown
me
that once
everything.
you see it, the horror goes.
I mean, it's the mystery of not knowing what it is, and then
there was a couple of things going back to Insidious where there was one bit which is voted as the biggest jump scare of like the first 10 years. There's in Insidious got that award for like there's a sequence which apparently everyone labeled as like number 1. They did like a poll of it. So that's one. And then there's another bit there's an Easter egg in Insidious that like my other friend who watched it all the time, that it's got he's in his classroom grading papers, and because it's from the guys that wrote Saw, Billy the Puppet is written on the whiteboard behind. And when I said that to my friend, she was like, really? Like, fucking hell, Billy Puppet. And I had to explain to everyone, look, Billy the Puppet's there. But also sort of it was the first, it just the way where it hit at the right time. It just probably doesn't work as well now as what it should be.
Yeah.
Also back to Con Air, the main reason is he's got the whole world in his hands. That ruins that film for me. Right, that still angers me to this day.
The best thing about Insidious is what our friend done in terms of trying to scare the shit out of us. In terms of she set up her Alexa to make a knocking noise at the door. Obviously hid it somewhere. We're there thinking, who the hell's knocking at the door? Open the door, there's no one there. And then like 2 seconds later, it's like knocking again. Getting her family to call us on no caller IDs, pretending to be creepy little girls and stuff. It was like, she went all out.
That's good.
So that added to the experience for sure.
The other thing that made me laugh as well is I remember a critic absolutely ripping Insidious to shreds. The child that gets affected is called Dalton, and the critic said any parent that calls their child Dalton deserves to go into the further and be demonically possessed.
Wow,
so I just remember I always laughed at that. Yeah, I mean it's not a great name though. Let's be honest. Like no disrespect to any of the
any Daltons listen to the podcast. I disagree with Stephen's comment.
Change your name by default, please.
Imagine next episode, Stephen's off.
Yeah, gets we've got a couple minutes, Stephen. Go on then. Virgin Island.
Oh,
he don't want to talk about it because he's planning to be on the next season. So.
I have not, obviously. Right. We did have a discussion of that. How the hell did they actually get tested? Like, did they have to go through like a petition of questions? Like, because we actually watched the first episode at the end of our little horror night where we were like, as a laugh, because the problem is I watched the first series with my ex, so now that I'm on my own, I have to feel like, do I really want to sit there on my own and watch it? But I find it is so bad that I'm engrossed by it. So like I watched the first episode, I was like, yeah, I am going to watch the rest. I just find it fascinating because it's so awkward, it's so cringy, and again, like why would you want to go on national television? It's a bit like the whole naked attraction. Like you're going to go into work and everyone's going to know that A, you're a virgin, and B, that you're crying at the sight of seeing naked parts. Like it doesn't do you any favors at all. Because like, are there people there that just want to get basically a shag, so they just pretend that they're virgins to just get onto the show? But surely they have like a vetting process.
Yeah, they must do.
Like,
and I think sometimes you can tell as well. Like they're going to be very socially awkward, blah blah blah, whatever.
There's always one. There was one that I was rooting for last year, and then he got too big for his boots, and then made one of the experts really uncomfortable. But like these experts are all over each other, so it's one of those shows that is so bad and so weird that it becomes quite engrossing. But I do feel like it's one of those shows where you kind of want a group of like friends watching it rather than watching it on your own. But I can't really be like, oh, do you want to come over and watch Virgin Island? That makes me sound even weirder. So I think I'll just bite the bullet and just when I've got a free moment to watch it. This week though, there is one show that is starting on, I think comes out Tuesday, Rivals season 2. I love the first season of Rivals, David Tennant's show, and I'm
It's out
really
already.
excited. Is it out already?
Yeah, first 3 episodes are out. I started watching it.
You fucking told me. I thought it was coming out next week. I will start watching that and then report back next week on the podcast because I love Rivals.
Very good. Well, that is going to do it for tonight's episode of the Late Night Movie Podcast. Let us know what you thought of Obsession. Do you agree with Andy and Stephen's 10 out of 10 reviews? Let us know in the comments or tag us on socials at the Late Night Pods. You can also join our Discord using the link in the description to get your thoughts in before we record our episodes and to answer all the polls that we put in there as well. If you enjoyed the episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you are listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Speaking of which, next time, I've not changed this, but we will be, as I said earlier, reviewing The Boys, the finale, season 5. So you will not want to miss that one. Until then, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I have been your host, Welchy, joined by my co-hosts, Andy.
I feel like you should have ended it by saying why you so obsessed with me. Thank you guys. See you next time on the Boys review.
I can't believe I didn't think of Mariah Carey in my pun at the intro. And Stephen.
Yeah, been a pleasure as always. And yeah, look forward to the next one.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.